Now, no hyperbole. I meant what I say. Andor Season 2 is the best thing since sliced bread. I have been, not have been, I loved this whole, well, I guess, Andor trilogy. Now, I loved Rogue One. It was my favorite of the, I guess, sequel movies that came after. And Andor in that was not a really huge character. He's kind of just like this soldier who was just kind of there and helped push the plot forward. And he was like a main guy, and he was kind of neat, but he was kind of just like a nothing burger, right? He he was cool. He was neat to see, but there wasn't a whole lot there. And boy, howdy, did them making a show about him change that. Now I know sky is blue, but what I mean by that is they did such a good job with the whole Andor series that I think Andor is probably one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, and I think the Andor series is probably one of the best pieces of, I guess, Star Wars media. And really, it's all thanks to those the Tony Gilroy, John Favreau, and Dave Filoni. Those three, I don't know what they do, what they sold to the devil, but oh my goodness, they just make gas. Everything they touch, golden. And thank God, because Kathleen Kennedy, dude, she's got the opposite. Her hands are like a fucking ugly stick, right? Anything she touches, just she's like Midas, but instead of gold, anything she touches turns to shit, right? Kathleen Kennedy is just poop Midas. All of the stuff she touched was garbage, everything, and I'm so happy she is out of there. I hate that lady. I do not like her. I do not like what she's done with the series, and I'm so happy that she is gone now, and that these three fine gentlemen are are here. The three wise men. They are so good, and they're the future of the series. At least I hope they're the future of the Star Wars series because they should be. They deserve to be. They have done wonders on Mandalorian and Andor. Now, what I think makes Andor so special is just how well they get everything. Like all like the little human details, like when Milshik is first flying over Coruscant, like he's never seen it before, and it just lingers on him a second, so you can see him admiring the planet, which and the entire planet is a city, which is insane. And like Milshik, this is his first time seeing it, so of course he'd be like taken aback. And it's like little things like that that are so good. And I'm really blown away by everything they've done. Um, it's so nice to see such a different Star Wars story because normally a lot of the time you see like these big grand fights and these large players on this huge stage, and now it's still like an important guy, but in all reality, he is just a foot soldier. He is just a guy, and it's so nice to see like the rebellion set up through the perspective of just this foot soldier essentially, like this special ops guy, because like we didn't really get to see the whole process of how the rebellion was built throughout the movies and all like Star Wars media and stuff like that. That was never really shown. Like Rebels showed it a bit, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It didn't scratch the itch that Andor scratched for me at least, because it was a much slower, more deliberate like political show, if you will. It really showed the politics of Star Wars at the time, with like Mon Mothma and Bail, and how they were just the few who stood against the fascist empire. Which, boom, another thing right there. The parallels that they drew between the Empire and Nazi Germany this season were fantastic. Like when they were doing the meeting for the Gorman, when they first did that meeting to like figure out how they could take down Gorman to basically fuck him over so they can mine all their resources. It it just screamed Nazi because the place where they held it resembled the Eagle's Nest a ton. Like it just looked like the Eagle's Nest. And then God, what was it? The Kinder blocks that Dedra grew up in, very fascist. All the uniforms, super fascist. Like it just really screams fascism. And then with Gorman, which was kind of a main focal point of season two, is another like Gorman really resembles, I guess, the French resistance during World War II, the parts of France that did resist to a Nazi occupation, and it parallels that very heavily, which I really like. It like it shows that they're drawing on history to create these really cool dramas in spite like this shit kind of happened. Like you could draw very obvious and direct parallels from Gorman and the Empire coming in and taking over Gorman to France during World War II and the freedom fighters in France, this small group of people that were fighting for their freedom in France against Nazi Germany, which I think it's very cool to see. Like it's very cool. They did it in a really really nice way, and also another thing while mentioning little things is that all the characters in this fantastic. They made Andor so much better. Brasso loved. He died. That sucks. Willem, he was great. Bix, fuck that bitch. Clea Luthen, also just fantastic characters. They got fleshed out way more in season two. Val, they fleshed her out more. Cinta, she got a little bit before she got shot. And they didn't really do too much. Well, I mean, I guess everyone else kind of died from the Aldani heist. Yeah, and then, oh my god, Cyril, too. Cyril, he also became, I think, one of my favorite characters in the show because he also parallels Cassian so much. Like, both of them are fighting for what they think is right. And Cassian, one, fighting for the rebellion, and Cyril fighting for the Empire. And their paths just parallel so much and just like mirror each other so well because they're both just people giving all that they can for what they think is right. Cyril fighting for the structure and stability that he sees in the Empire, and Cassian, which is another thing that Cyril holds like most valuable to himself, is like structure and stability, and he craves like approval, which the Empire thrives off people like that. While Cassian, on the other hand, he loves his freedom. And he thinks fighting for freedom is important. And so you basically just see these two very similar people, both fighting for what they think is right, essentially mirror each other, one fighting for freedom, one fighting for stability and control in their eyes. And it's another really cool parallel that they're able to draw in this series. Well, I guess while we're on it, Gorman, we'll talk about Gorman. I thought it was so cool just seeing that they planned this so like way far in advance. They went through this whole dog and pony show just to create this false flag so they could get what they want, and they did not give a fuck what happened. Like, and that's perfect. It's shown perfectly in the Gorman massacre, where like they just full on murder people, but they spin it in a way to make it seem like they're justified and all this stuff, and it's so cool to see because even Cyril's mom, she was falling for the propaganda. She was like, oh, the Gormans, I'm not going to buy for them. They always thought they were better. And it shows the subtle propaganda and the shift that the common people can go through when pushed by the government. When the government pushes propaganda, it shows what can happen. And it's so cool to see that all happen in Gorman. Like, it's so cool. You get to see them slowly egg on the Gorman people and just tighten down the vice just tighter and tighter and tighter just to get them to try and push them to rebel so they could get what they want. And eventually is what happened. They didn't really rebel. They kind of got pushed into that, but you get it. And that's another thing. It's so cool to see Star Wars go down this darker path, which is, I think, something they should explore a little bit more because yeah, Star Wars is mainly like a kid's show, but you have all these people who've grown up with it since like the 70s, 80s. Like, you have an audience for this. And I think Andor proves it, is like the Star Wars audience wants to see a little bit darker stuff. Like, this is a fascist empire who has massacred people. They've done some fucked up stuff, and they will do some fucked up stuff. And like, it's really cool to see it because you get to see it on full display. And Gorman is the perfect example of this. Is this fascist empire driving these people to rebellion, and these people know nothing. Like, and even Cassian says as much. He's like, these people aren't ready. These people aren't ready for a rebellion. They're like, we cannot help them. They just don't know what they're doing. And yeah, I think it is what makes them such a prime target for the Empire to push them, is because it's such a baby faced rebellion. Like they're not rebels. And like when they go to try and steal the transport to prove to everyone that what everyone already knows is like, oh, they're building an armory over a memorial when like 100 people died because Tarkin landed his ship. It's like everyone already knows it. You don't need to prove this, but they still go ahead with it, and then it ends up getting another like Cinta killed. Cinta's an experienced like rebel operative, and she dies for these super inexperienced people because they can't follow orders, and it just shows how inexperienced and not ready for this they are. They got thrown into the deep end, and they can't swim. And it shows how the Empire takes advantage of this by pushing them and pushing them. And then they give the perfect plausible deniability of like, they sent out this like greenhorn squad of riot control troops out into this huge horde of people singing their national song and that are violent because they've been oppressed. The Empire's been pushing down, and they're out to get some. They want to get their get back. And then all it takes is just and it shows, it's just this big build up to this one moment. Because all it takes, the tension is so high, and you can just feel it. That all it takes is one little nudge, one little push, and an Imperial sniper shoots one of those Imperial riot control guys to get them to snap and start shooting. Because as soon as they start shooting, all hell breaks loose. Once that sniper shoots that like new inexperienced guy, all hell breaks loose. Everyone starts shooting each other, and then it's like, oh my god. Because it's just straight it's a massacre, it's a murder. They brought all these people into the square where their people were murdered, and they're like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to show, like, we're being pushed, we're being oppressed. They're stepping on us. And then and what's so great is that they brought in the news crews, the Imperial news crews. And the Gormans are like, oh, this is our time to show the universe, like, this is what's happening, the galaxy, that this is what's happening. Nope. It's a whole 1-2 fuck you flipperoo. Like they completely turn the situation on its head, the Imperials, and they make it seem like the Gormans shot first, and then it was this violent uprising, and they had no choice but to go and defend themselves and kill all these fucking people. And it's so great because you see, like, Cyril is a dedicated Imperial servant. He gave it his all for the Empire. And you see a normal person in Cyril, what their reaction would be if they really knew what happened to Gorman. Which was, oh my god, what the fuck? Like, Cyril has a whole breakdown, and he leaves the safety of the Imperial headquarters to go out into the crowd, which he inevitably dies out there. And his death is also crazy because he spent this whole series obsessing over Andor, the guy who got away, the guy who ruined his career. And Andor's had such an important impact on his life, and when he finally confronts Andor in the crowd, and Andor doesn't even recognize who he is. And it's such a crushing moment for Cyril, because it's like, oh my god, I spent such an insane part of my life. Well, not like lengthwise, but like, this guy had such a big impact on my life, and he's affected me so much. And he doesn't even know who I am. He doesn't give a fuck who I am. And he's had such a large impact on my life, which it's just crazy to see. And it's so well done. It's so well done that this dude is just crushed, and he's shot in the head immediately. It's super tragic, but also funny as hell at the same time. And again, it's another example of why these three guys, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and the Tony Gilroy, they're so good at doing these things. Oh my god, it's so awesome. And it just crushes Cyril, which leads, to his death. It's insane. And then Andor, he gets out of there, and you hear like these people just sending out distress signal after distress signal, like, please, for the love of God, help us. We are getting massacred. And then And like people know, but I don't know. It takes Mon Mothma to give a speech where then she's almost immediately arrested, and then goes to the rebel base on Yavin, which that's another person, Mon Mothma. Oh my god, she great character. You get to see her progress from the senator to like an actual like she's a senator around people she can't really be herself with. All these aristocrats on Chandrilla and stuff, and in the Senate, it's like she can't really be herself, and you don't really see her become herself until she gets around the rebels, which is so cool to see. Um, and then Luthen and Clea, again, awesome characters. You get to see the man who built the rebellion, pretty much. Luthen. He started out as an Imperial trooper, and then he is on a world that's getting massacred, and that's his breaking point. That's what snaps him. And he ends up saving this little girl, Clea, from the massacre, and he brings her with him. And he brings her with him on his adventures, and you get to see their path throughout on their journey to where they are, and you get to see how like they start out bartering these little things. They just get better and better, and they get more expensive items and better clothes, and you get to see them build up the rebellion. And you also get to see Clea where she's like her point where Luthen knows that she's all in. Like they're on this super rich world, and they're about to blow up these things, and Luthen's like, "Hey, pay attention. Are you ready to do this? Like once you do this, there's no going back." And dude, Clay is just boom right there. And Luthen stops her because he's like, "You're a little kid. I'm not gonna let you kill fucking 50 people right now." And so he does it for her. But it's just cool that you get to see them on this journey and stuff, Luthen and Clea, throughout their whole thing, and it really explains their relationship. And you get that flashback. We get this flashback after Lonnie, the guy who was the Imperial plant or the Rebel plant in the ISB, after he gets burned basically and gets killed by Luthen, because he finds out what Palpatine is doing. He finds out the Death Star plans, and he's like, "Dude, I need to get." He contacts Luthen. He's like, "I'm burned. I need to get out of here now." And Luthen's like, "Well, okay, let's meet." And Lonnie burns his one ship and tells Luthen, and Luthen ends up killing him because he tells him about Yavin. And once he tells him about Yavin, it's over. Like Luthen couldn't risk letting him know about Yavin because he could have been a double plant. Like, yeah, he may have been helping Luthen, but at the end of the day, he's still an Imperial. He's still an ISP agent. So Luthen kills him, and then he goes to his shop to burn all their equipment and all that, and then that's where Daedra finally catches up to him, which she's been wanting to do from the start. And she kind of oversteps because she, I think it was given to her assistant, Hurt, or something like that. I forget his name, weird name, because she was getting too invested. So Partagas pulled her off, and he put Hirt on it instead. But Daedra, she wanted the glory. She wanted Axis for herself, and so she oversteps. And she goes to take down Luthen, and Luthen gives this great line where Daedra's like, "Oh, is it everything in here real?" And Luthen's like, "There's two items of questionable providence in this gallery right now. One of them being this knife that he's holding, and the other one obviously being himself." And it's such a cool little play on words. It's so awesome. I love it. Another boom, awesome thing. And so Luthen ends up killing himself, trying to kill himself. Stabs himself in the stomach, which is stupid because it's the worst way to do it. It's like the most painful and worst way. And Daedra ends up freaking out because like she gets fucked. She ruined herself when she did that because she gets stripped of everything. She gets arrested by Hirt, and she gets stripped of everything because she overstepped. And eventually it leads to Krennic basically interrogating her because they find out that Lonnie got all the information about the Death Star. He's like, who else knows? Because this is a big deal. The Emperor's been trying to keep this secret, and all it took was one nosy ISB agent who was chasing glory to bring it all down, which is so nice to see. And the interrogation scene with Daedra and Krennic is so great because it mirrors her interrogation scene with Bix so much. It's so fantastic. it's just such a good mirror to back to the first. It's so good. And then Data eventually she gets sent back to the like the labor areas that you saw in the first season, where they Morlana 5, I think is what it was. It's really cool to see because you see her just go back, and she's now one of the people that she sent. She's a nobody, and she ruined her life. She committed a massacre, ruined her life for nothing. She's just an average person now, and it's so. One second, let me take a sip of my water. Yeah, it's so great to see. It's so great to see. Oh fuck! I gotta hurry this up. And then you get to see. I think one of my favorite scenes that comes after this is when K2SO is in the. We'll get to that. Sorry. You see Clea go to a safe house, the one that Cassian and Bix are staying in, and you see it's all run down, which it's such a cool little piece of environmental storytelling because it shows like the rebellion isn't on Coruscant anymore. It's gone away, like Luthen said. The rebellion's flown away, and it's just a cool little piece of environmental storytelling with this rundown apartment that used to be so lively because it shows like it hasn't been used. The rebellion's gone, and while they're in there, the Hurt and like a group of like police guys basically walk up to them and um, try and track them down. They track down Clea after Clea killed Luthen, which is another cool thing because Luthen dies alone. The dude who built the rebellion dies alone, pretty much unknown to a lot of people except the upper echelon of the rebellion. So that was really sad but neat thing too. And he died how he knew he would die. Like he knew he was going to die. But yeah, Clea's in this apartment, and then with Cassian and Milchik, or not Milchik, yeah, Milchik. And you get to see Hurt go in there and track him down with like all these like police officers basically, and you get to see K2SO wreck house. He fucks them up, and it's so cool to see because he just boom smacks him. Boom, smacks another guy. Boom, throws another guy into a wall. It's like, why didn't the Empire use more droids? I don't know why. They should use just all those security droids. They're insane. But once he gets up to the hallway, you can see this really cool scene where he just snaps Hurt's neck and fucking holds him in front of him like a body shield. It's insane. And then just kills the other guys and frees Cassian and Milchik and Clea. It's so sick. But yeah, it's you get the idea. This show is so good, and it's even better when you watch Andor or not Andor, Rogue One right after it. It's so good. You get to see like this is Cassian. He has like a couple days left alive. He dies like a week after this or less after the season ends, and it just makes Rogue One so much better. And it all kind of makes me mad. A little gripe session at the end because this shows that they can make good shit, but they just don't. Like, oh my god, the Acolyte, ugh! Ahsoka was pretty good, but like there's a lot of kind of stupid stuff in that too. But oh my god, it's such a good show. I'm gonna go back I think and watch all Star Wars media in chronological order. I think that's what Andor is gonna make me do. But yeah, I've rambled enough. I need to go get some water. That's about it for the day. See ya.